welcome to the Dot Rising studio.
Hi.
Hi. Could you please tell us a bit about yourself, your role, and the company you work for?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Lindsay Herbert, and I'm head of digital at Precedent. And head of digital is a weird title. What it really means is that I help to lead really large projects, really large website build projects that involves a lot of integration with offline channels, online channels. So essentially, my role is creating and leading the vision for huge brands, organizations, and helping them move towards complete digital integration with their entire business. And in terms of Precedent, our bread and butter is building really big websites, but we also are very heavily underpinned in strategy. We've got a mobile excellence unit. We essentially touch on all those different points of what a business could use, and we can actually build it from beginning to end and help to maintain it as well. So we're quite a large company now, and we've got offices around the UK, 2 in Australia, and our newest office in Hong Kong.
Oh wow, very exciting. So you kind of bring together all aspects of digital marketing to help out brands.
Absolutely, and so building a website from scratch, but then also figuring out how to take offline processes. So say, for example, how to make a call center more efficient in a more digital way. So, or how to take paper processes, universities with application processes, that sort of thing, how to make that more digital to serve greater markets, become more international, and essentially just streamline and reduce costs.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there any trends that you've kind of noticed in this area? 'Cause everyone seems to be getting on board digital now. What do you think might be, some trends that have happened, and what do you think the future might bring in this kind of industry?
Sure. So I think one of the key trends is curated content and any ability to personalize content and streamline it. And we're seeing it even in the form of search. So for example, it used to be that you would go on a search on a website and you would type in the keyword that you're looking for, or if it's, say, a travel company, you might type in the flights you're looking for. Whereas now search is moving into a much more intuitive and kind of emotion-based. So instead of saying, I'm looking for a flight to this place, you might be saying, I'm looking for nice weather and I've only got 2 days to spend. And then serving up the results based up in a more human kind of way. Almost turning digital into a personal advisor, a personal assistant. And what's nice is that the technology is finally allowing us to do that in a better way. So that's where one of the biggest trends is coming. And then I'd say another big trend is just in terms of the devices themselves. It used to be that mobile and tablet were an afterthought. Now, and especially in international markets, you have people skipping desktop completely and going just straight to tablet and mobile. And so customizing the experience for those devices isn't, again, it's not just nice to have anymore, it's really critical.
Yeah, it's kind of essential to any brand, and this kind of, this personal, making the consumer about the individual more than like a blanket advertising or something.
Absolutely. And I think too, just in terms of user behavior, people are relying on external sites more than they used to. So, we used to talk about social media being one channel, mobile being a channel, that sort of thing. Well, maps are actually now a channel in themselves. So the information that you have embedded about you in Google Maps or Google Places, that can actually drive the start of a conversion tunnel in a way that it didn't used to. And the way that users are engaging with those different kind of content aggregators and platforms and portals has really changed so much in the last couple of years that you have to play by the rules of those larger platforms. It's not just a nice to have anymore.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic, thank you. And there are lots of young people around these days looking to get involved in digital marketing, obviously, as it's a massively growing community and industry. What advice would you give them with the industry kind of expertise you've picked up? What would you give them now coming into the market?
Absolutely, no matter what, do paid work. So even if it's for your aunt and uncle, even if it's for a local business, don't rely on your degree. Do not rely on class assignments. When we get so many applicants and intern applications and that sort of thing of people who have only done classwork, and unfortunately the universities just can't keep up with the speed at which this sector is moving at. And also too, if you're specifically looking to work in an agency, you have to be able to work to a brief, work within a deadline, and unfortunately you just don't get a demonstration of that with the kind of easier kind of classroom-based stuff. So for any graduate out there, any kind of paid work that you can get, or even if it's unpaid, but that the output of it will be for an actual business and will be publicly viewable and that sort of thing, that makes so much more of a difference to us than a beautiful portfolio of stuff that's been produced in a classroom.
Yeah, I think the industry is moving so fast that now, like you said, and we've heard a lot of people actually say that, yeah, the things that they're teaching in university and things like that, they are always going to have to be out of date because it's just going to be, the industry's moving so fast.
And I mean, the universities are getting better. Some universities have recognized that they can't move quickly enough, and so they're doing better partnerships with business and, you know, co-ops and placements and that sort of thing. So if you're choosing a university, that's one of the best ways to decide. If you want to go into this industry, having an actual work placement or something like that is going to make a big difference. But then otherwise, yeah, it's being out there and it's meeting people and finding out what other people are doing. And the other big piece of advice I would give is ditch the jargon. Don't worry about trying to memorize buzzwords.
Oh, yeah.
And every agency even will have different names for things, and some people will tie themselves in knots trying to remember all the jargon. And it's okay to admit if you don't know what a term means, because you might actually know what the thing is, but you just don't know what it's being called, you know, the flavor of the week name that is being given that week. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to us.
No problem.
It's been really interesting. How will viewers be able to reach out to you on social media or Precedent?
Sure. So Precedent, we're on Twitter at PrecedentComms. And for myself, on Twitter, I'm at Lindsay, but it's spelled Lindzeiy. Or you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Lindsay Herbert. Welcome anyone to connect, ask questions, that sort of thing, or if you're interested in finding out more about Precedent.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much, Cindy, for talking to us.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Thanks.
I think the next big thing in digital marketing is the continuing rise of social media.